Okay, what's up, people? Welcome back to another stream. Hope everyone is doing well. As always, guys, if you are enjoying the content, please be sure to drop a like on the stream. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. And of course, make sure you do go and hit the bell so you don't miss out on any uploads or streams in the future. And guys, make sure you do check out Elevating Trade's Discord channel, completely free to join. Link is at the top of the chat. You can't miss it. And also in the description below as well, if you don't see it at the top of the chat. You can join in discussions, trading opportunities shared by myself and other traders, chat about other opportunities, share opportunities if you want to as well. So if you are interested in that, make sure you check it out. And if you are looking for a discount code for Elevating Traders, you can find that in the Discord there for 50% off as well. So make sure you go check that out if you haven't done so already. But guys, welcome back to another stream. Hope everyone is well. Will, good morning. Good morning. Oil back in the area. I haven't actually looked at oil since yesterday, so we'll go have a quick look, see what's happening. What's up, FX Wolf? Good morning. Good morning. Blessing, good morning. Hope you're well. Welcome to the stream. Euro dollar, we'll definitely take a look at that one. Brian, good morning. Hope you're well. Yes, I am long on Euro USD, looking to buy it as well. Okay, I guess we'll start off with Euro, but we'll take a look at oil as well. So yeah, I've been looking to get involved with Euro since last week at the same area, but we steadily fell. But the key thing I'll be looking for is if price will hang on to this low here, and I'll talk about what I'm looking at on the DXY as well, because it looks like DXY could be turning around. But all in all, Euro USD's had a really hefty fall. And now we're coming back into some big lows on the daily chart. We've also got some nice additional confluence with this daily trend line here. So if I connect the lows, so you got the first major swing low over there, second over there, third over there, and potentially a fourth. Now, I'm not necessarily looking for Euro to absolutely fly and see a continuation back to the high, although that is a possibility, but I'm being a little bit too optimistic. I'm going to expect something like that to happen. Euro is quite a choppy pair, at least these days anyway. You can see how we've been chopping around. We've come back into a pivotal area where price could look to turn around. Last time we were here, we saw a lot of bullish momentum come into the market. And now we're back there again. And especially after the market's had such a big fall, the market's really, really stretched, really oversold. So we're likely to see a bounce at some point, and we do have a nice confluence at this area for us to see that bounce to happen. Now, my stop loss was just underneath the level there. I entered on the 4-hour candle, which just closed at 10 a.m. UK time. So this candle here, I could have entered a little bit early, but this was kind of like out of hours. I wasn't really looking at the charts at that time. So the entry was a little bit later than it could have been, but still roughly in the same area, and the stop loss where I wanted to be as well. So I'm looking for a bounce there for Euro, and inherently looking for a bit of a pullback for the dollar. You can see the dollar has been flying over the past few weeks as well. The dollar's come back into major resistance on the higher time frames, particularly the weekly chart. If I drag this level across here, you can see major resistance on the left here, really big move, was support there not long ago as well. And now I'm looking for that to flip as resistance as you come back into this 104, 104.5 area. So we're in a really nice place where dollar can have a bit of a breather, take a bit of a rest of this bullish momentum. I'm not necessarily expecting prices just to move one clean move down. It could happen, but I think that's a bit far of a stretch. I think we could expect to see at least some retracement and see price maybe tick off. If it drops the daily chart, maybe push back down into that previous low down here at 103.4. I think that's a realistic place for us to expect price to pull back into. Maybe we break through, maybe we bounce, maybe we see a bigger retracement. I will be trading just to see how far Euro will take me. But if we look at the correlation there, we're sitting at some nice areas on Euro and sitting at some nice areas at Euro on dollar as well. So I'm really liking the confluence. I'm liking where we're situated. Really nice rejection as well. I remember on stream yesterday, price was looking really bearish. So I said, until we see some signs of rejection, I'm not looking to hop into anything. And yeah, throughout most of yesterday, we were kind of pretty bearish. Towards the end, we started to slow down, but really kind of overnight, we picked up some momentum, and especially this morning as well. So I've hopped into a trade there. Going to see if we can get a bounce. I'll probably be looking to secure some gains if we get back to the high here. I think that's around a 1-to-1 for me. So yeah, if we can get back into 1.086, I'll probably look to trail my stop loss at that point, because I understand that momentum is really against me. So I don't want to be too aggressive with this trade, because I know, all that momentum is essentially going against me, and that could very much continue. So if we can get a bounce from there back into that level, that'd be great. But in terms of targets, I do think we can see a push back into this area. For euro, possibly the low here as well if price becomes really bullish. But more so, this area here is a realistic target for me, 1.09 for 500. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking at for euro. Nice area of confidence, expecting a bounce. Nice rejection there on the 4 hour. I like the wicks as well. And yeah, I think we had a bit of news as well, which kind of sped things up a little bit. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with euro. We'll go through oil as well, and we'll take a look at oil. Yeah, Euro USD is a little bit slow. It is a little bit slow. It's not the speediest market in the world. I mean, we say it's a bit slow, but it had a really nice drop over the past few weeks. But normally, it's quite a stable currency pair, so it's not going to do anything erratic. It's not going to do anything crazy. 90% of the time, it's going to be very, very stable. It's going to have its trends, going to have its consolidation as well. But yeah, you can see for 2024, really, / the end of 2023, it hasn't really been the most trendiest market in the world. So, you have to take that into advantage. If the market isn't trending well, how are you going to look to trade it? Well, you can't really be looking for aggressive pullbacks in these circumstances, because aggressive pullbacks won't work. And aggressive trends like we had in 2022, yeah, sure, you might find some really nice pullbacks there. But in these conditions, you need to be looking at kind of playing the major swings a little bit more, looking to buy low, sell high, and not being too greedy if you take profits, because the market does tend to reverse on itself as well. So yeah, Euro USD, maybe not the cleanest market. It's a little bit on the slower side. I can agree with that. Definitely compared to the yen pairs, which I know you like trading a lot more. But a nice opportunity nonetheless. So I'm going to see how that goes. And yeah, some other USD pairs looking tad bullish. USD CAD looks like we might be looking for some retracement as well. So similar move that I'm looking for in euro. I looked at Aussie dollar as well. Aussie dollar came back into a nice low there too, which is another place I said I'm interested in some longs. But again, I'm not going to jump into euro USD and Aussie dollar at the same time, because very, very similar trades. They're probably going to both see some upside or both continue falling. But Aussie dollar came back into a nice level as well. This is the area I said since last week, which would look good for a bounce. Market has still be correctively falling, but if you can get a break outside this channel, I think that will be the catalyst to really get price pushing up. So yeah, I'm looking for a bit of a breather here for the dollar pairs. Dollar's done a really nice move, tremendous move, but we're coming up to some areas where I do think it's time to see a bit of a breather. So we'll see how that goes towards the end of the week. We'll have a look at oil quickly. Okay, Tom, GJ, okay, longs and pound yen. You should raise that level. Look at the next stop. Okay, we'll go through some yen pairs, because yen pairs are still a little bit interesting. Very interesting. They were very bullish yesterday, but then they sort of kind of came back on themselves a little bit. Started off the day a little bit bearish, but they're being kind of a mixed bag, at least this morning anyway. So we'll take a look at the yen pairs, but let me have a look at oil first. So yeah, with oil, we're back at 72. It is coming right back into that same level. But again, as I mentioned yesterday, as long as price can hold this level 72, I would be looking at shorts. If we were to break above, then I would probably back away, because again, it's not like oil is seeing tremendous trends or really clean trend or a lot of bearish momentum. It's a bit more of a choppier pair, at least at this moment in time anyway. So if it doesn't hold on to that, that's where my alarm bells will be raised and I'll be a little bit skeptical. But if we can hold on to this, that would be great. In fact, If price can come back down, give us another bearish engulfing, then the 4 hour, that looks like a really nice double top entry there. Stop loss above the high, and then depending how far you're looking to take it, the risk reward looks really, really good there as well. But yeah, oil's definitely back at 72. Now it's up to oil whether it wants to hold or if it wants to break through. But yeah, not a good sign if it does break above. But if we can hold, maybe some additional entries or some first entries if you're looking to trade it. But it's still trading at a nice level, so I would definitely keep an eye on that one. A very close eye. But that means if oil is pushing up, that means we're probably seeing a little bit of strength for CAD as well. So these CAD pairs should be heading down a little bit. Not really, to be honest. Over the past 24 hours, yes, but not so much this morning. But yeah, we'll go through some yen pairs, see what's cooking over there. Because I'm still interested with the yen pairs, but I don't really have any opportunities just yet. Okay, wait for the candle to close. Yeah, I would agree. See what we can get in the next candle. Okay, so with the yen pairs, I think Swiss yen is the clearest and the cleanest, in my opinion. Probably not the most popular yen pair, but in terms of momentum, in terms of the breakout we saw, price really left behind some key areas of structure here. That was our lower high, which gave us this low. Price completely reversed that and is looking really, really bullish since then. And we've also been putting in some nice higher highs and higher lows as well. So from an intraday point of view, intra-week as well, if you can get some pullbacks into here, maybe some entries on the hourly chart or the 4 hour chart, I think something like this looks really, really good. And then again, just expecting the next continuation, because at that point, I would be really bullish on Swiss yen. It's looking really, really bullish right now for me. Again, not really an opportunity I'm concerned about right now. But if I'm looking to kind of continue this trend here on the lower time frame, yeah, I'm looking for the pullbacks for some long opportunities. So Swiss, I can definitely see the buys there if you continue looking to ride that trend intraday. I can definitely see that. Dollar yen, I've had my concerns about because of where we're trading. We're still at major resistance here. I know we kind of broken it there on the daily chart, but we're still kind of in that vicinity, in that area, because if we close straight back below, it's back holding as resistance. And the weekly chart probably would give us a wick, because if we close back below today, that would be Thursday's candle. Then we've got Friday's candle to make the decision. And if Friday's candle doesn't break back above and we just leave a big wick down the weekly chart, then that tells me that this resistance here is still holding pretty well. And next week could be a really bearish week for dollar yen, and we could see a really big push down. Even if the DXY goes through a bit of retracement as well, that will help it out. But this is still major resistance for me. So as a swing trader, I'm not going to be looking to take buys in this area. This is more bearish territory. If we're to break through and see a lot of upside and pull back, then of course I'll be talking about the buys at that point, but we're a long way away from that. This is still major resistance, so I'm kind of taking a seat back and just waiting to see what the weekly candle gives me, because strong close above, sign of more upside to come probably. If we close below and just leave a big wick, that's a bearish sign to me for next week. So it's going to be interesting to see how the week closes. But all I can say is that we're in major resistance. Well, we're in that area of major resistance, so I wouldn't be looking to do anything. Of course, intraday, you're probably looking to ride the momentum and take some buys, maybe if you come back into here. But as a swing trader, I'm going to wait for a bit more information before I'm consolidating my judgments with dollar yen. So really interesting area, but not going to put an opportunity down yet. Again, with Aussie yen still kind of correctly moving, we haven't really broken to the upside like we've seen with some other yen pairs. I really wanted to see price really commit to the upside here, and then we look for some pullbacks and upside, in that regard. But we haven't seen that happen with Aussie yen. It's just been kind of teasing the high there a little bit. So yes, there might be some shorter term opportunities, but I wouldn't look for anything crazy, because again, the market's still pretty corrective to me. You're not really seeing really healthy bullish momentum. So yes, we might still get a buy-in, but I wouldn't look for anything crazy. I wouldn't be surprised if we're going to have a big push to the downside at some point. I did highlight some areas yesterday of where we could get to. So the low here around 1025 and the high there. This could be a selling point for Aussie yen, because this movement is just so corrective. It's not the sign of a healthy trend. If you compare it to Swiss yen, it has a really commanding break, so pullbacks and continuations look good there. But with Aussie yen, I'm not sold yet. I'm not sold on the buys just yet. At least from a swing idea anyway. So that's why I'm not really liking what I'm seeing with Aussie yen just yet. But things can change. Maybe we get a strong bullish candle today and things look really good. But at the moment, that's still really corrective for me. So I'm not gonna make any judgments just yet. In terms of New Zealand yen, I think it's even worse. Yeah, it's even worse for New Zealand yen. We haven't even broken the high yet. So again, the plan is pretty clear. If price gives me a strong candle like this, breaking high, then yeah, that's a sign of a bullish of a bullish breakout, and you're mostly looking for pullbacks for price to continue higher, if that's not a big fake out. So if we do see a strong close above, yeah, sure, looking for pullbacks and continuations. But we yet to see that. We yet to see the breakout. So as price is still stuck at that resistance, I'm still going to say pretty neutral in the market, at least for New Zealand yen anyway, because this is just a big range. We're trading at the high of the range. We could easily see price make another move back down to the low of the range, and we just got more ranging. So I need price to commit above these areas or below these areas here, and then I can make a decision, and then we can start looking for some opportunities on some pullbacks. But as long as we stay within the range, I'm not going to say too much, because it's 50-50 really which way we break out. So yeah, New Zealand yen, not a lot to report on there, to be honest. Euro yen, this one had a nice push. So I like Euro yen a little bit more. It's still kind of trading a major resistance though, so I'm a little bit scared of that. And again, this is not really bullish territory for me to be looking for buys, because if you compare this opportunity to Euro yen, not Euro yen, sorry. If you compare this opportunity to dollar yen, which is this major resistance here, and I said I'm not looking to take any buys just yet, wait and see how we close in the weekly and whether we continue breaking up to the upside or we pull back down. It's a similar situation with Euro yen as well. Major resistance there on the left, big turning point. Again, I wouldn't be surprised if this is just a bit of a fake out for the market to then get that big sell and really start to sell off as well. If I scoot to the weekly chart, yeah, the week candle still live. We could still very much pull back underneath and leave a big wick, or we could push through and give us a big strong candle close. So it could go either way. So I'm waiting for more information. We'll see how we close this Friday, and that will kind of make up my mind for the following week. And yeah, if we leave a big wick there and the weekly candle pulls back down, leaves a big wick, I would be pretty bearish, because it tells me that this level is still intact. And now with that fake out, that'll probably trap some buyers or take out some sellers there. And that might be the catalyst we need to actually see some downside for the yen pair. So Euro yen, another one as well, which I'll wait for a bit more information. If we are going to break to the upside, I want to see a little bit more confirmation than that, especially because of where we're trading. CAD yen, this one looks a little bit better to buy. I mean, it's coming back to some bigger areas on the left. In fact, if you just go to the weekly channel here, so you're coming to some bigger areas there on the left as well. So another pivotal area which could give us a big sell if we don't manage the breakout. But I think on the lower time frames, if we're to pull back to some of these areas here, you probably can get at least a nice bounce. Again, it might not be the continuation of a massive trend. It could be, but I would say in terms of a nice place for a buy, it does look good here, because we had a nice consolidation. Price really broke out of that this week, a lot of momentum. So if you were to push back down there, I think you can catch a nice bounce at least, and that could be a trade worthwhile taking. In terms of the bigger move at play, I'm still undecided, because we're still coming into some big levels. And if we leave another wick here on the weekly chart, then again, that's another bearish sign to me, and we could see a big drop. So CAD yen, Euro yen, dollar yen, all in very similar boats here. If we don't manage big breakouts of these levels, we could see some big sells from here. So CAD yen, massive level there, Euro yen, massive level over here, and dollar yen as well. Now, I know a lot of you guys aren't necessarily looking to trade such a big move like this. I know that's the case. I'm not looking to trade that big of a move as well either. But at least just keeping in mind where we're trading in the higher time frames can definitely provide a lot of clarity. Because if you are looking for continuations to follow this momentum, that's good, but you want to be aware of where you're trading. If prices, let's say, breaking above this, then it becomes a lot easier to follow that momentum because we don't have a big higher time frame level right ahead of us. You got a lot of clear path, a lot of room to move into until we get back to 161. So looking for continuations and pullbacks, from here to here looks pretty good. Not when price is trading at the high there. That's when you got a little bit more indecision. Price is making its mind up whether it wants to continue higher or turn around. And we'll probably find that out in the next few days. By the end of the week, we probably know what price is likely to do. So that's what I'm waiting for in the high time frames for those yen pairs in particular. GJ, though, has made some nice movements, I have to say, because it's clearly broken through this high a long time ago. It broke out this resistance this week. So we are seeing some nice momentum. I have marked out some areas where to keep an eye out for, which is this level here, which you just come into, and that level up there as well. So again, in the higher time frame, in the higher time frame levels, we are coming back into some areas where we could see some momentum. You can see a bit of consolidation, big drop to the downside there as well. So this is bearish territory. It might not give us a sell like that. It might just be a bigger retracement at some point. But I would be a little bit careful at those areas. I think in terms of buys for GJ, they do look good in the lower time frames. But again, I would like price to come back to some of these lower areas first before executing on any of those buys. So, something like this drops the hourly chart, nice little pop to the upside. Same thing of this level as well. Looks pretty good. So, yeah, if you're looking for longs in GJ, I can get behind that. It looks one of the better pairs to buy from. But yeah, I wouldn't be looking for anything too optimistic because we do have some big areas here where sellers will be sitting and looking to try and see if they can take price to the downside. If you're looking for an intraday move, intraday move, it makes sense, or intra-week move, something like that back to the high. But yeah, I would be careful because I don't think it's just going to be a clean path to the upside for the yen pairs. We've got some obstacles in our way, and if we see some big rejections, we could be talking about a very, very bearish yen crosses in the next couple of days. So I'd watch out for that. But GJ buys I do like though. If you're looking for price to come a little bit lower, around 196, 196.4, 196, roughly around that kind of area. Okay, yeah, 196.40. So yeah, if you're looking for a price to come there, I can get behind that. And then maybe a swing back to the high, but I wouldn't look for anything more than that because it could get dangerous. So I'd watch out for that. Yeah, breaks 101. Is that for Euro USD? Breaks 1.1 is the next stop. Where is 1.1? 1.101. Okay, so you're talking about this level. Yeah, I would agree. Again, with this one though, I'm going to be a little bit. I want to be a hybrid because I normally trail my stop losses, but because Euro USD is a bit more of a choppy pair, I'm not going to just be ignorant and just trail and see how far I can take it because I know in these conditions, me looking to trail is not probably the optimal way to manage the trade. If I'm trading these conditions here and the market's trending, yeah, of course, trading stop loss makes a lot of sense. But in these conditions, trading stop loss don't work that well. They can keep you in some nice bigger moves, but as we approach the bigger resistance, you do want to make sure you're taking your profit because the chances are price is going to come right back down. So yeah, with Euro USD, there's room to the upside. If we break through that level, we can probably go there. But depending how things are looking, I might just call it a day and take my profit at the high here. I mean, I'm still looking at 2.75, so still a decent risk to reward. maybe if momentum is really strong and we're not seeing much rejection there, I might leave it to continue. But the plan is to kind of trail it to that level. And then when we get there, maybe just close it. If things look good, maybe I try and hold on for that level. But yeah, because it's very choppy conditions, I'm trying not to be too optimistic. Okay, we'll take a look. Soft tuning, not problem. GU as well. I'll go through some USD pairs. I was supposed to go through them. I got sidetracked a little bit. What's up, CS Integrated? Hope you're doing good. Good to see you as well. Welcome. Hope everyone's doing good this Thursday morning. Had a lot of news this morning with PMI for Euro, for Germany, for pound as well, I think as well. So there was a bit of movement this morning. I think we've got dollar PMI in the afternoon as well. So anyone trading USD, keep an eye on that, aka myself. But yeah, PMI is not major news, so I'm not gonna do anything different to what I normally do, because again, with my stop losses and the markets I trade and how I trade, if I kind of if I kind of panic for every single news event, I'm not going to get anywhere, because there's a news event almost every day. So only NFP, Fed interest rate, and CPI is the ones there, which I would refrain getting into a new position if they're about to be released. But yeah, with this one, we have seen some downside. Again, we were touching upon this yesterday because this market was pretty bearish, but the yen pairs are pretty bullish. So it's kind of ironic because they normally are positively correlated. So when the Japanese index is heading down, the basket is normally heading down as well with it. But in this case, we weren't actually seeing that. We're actually seeing the correlation go in the opposite direction. So that's why it's been very interesting. But I did say as we approach some of these areas, we might see a bounce to the upside. And I do think we will. Overall, the market's pretty bullish. So, for an index like this, I'm still looking to take buys predominantly. As we do come back into a low like this, I would be looking at some buys at around 37.6. More of a swing trade though, so I'd be looking for entries on the 4 hour, with a bit of size in the stop loss below here, below that area, and looking to see if I can take it back into the highs up there and possibly further as well. So that's really what I'll be looking for this one. Overall, the market structure is still pretty bullish to me. Still seeing a nice higher low and a higher high. So the plan is to try and find the next one, take it back into the high, and then maybe back into the all-time high up there. So overall, very, very bullish for me for this market. And we're now back at some nice bullish areas where buys look good. So I'll be looking for entries around 37.6. And yeah, looking to take a trade back into the high and stop losses just below the low here. If we were to go and break through that, this is the next area which I'll be looking for price to come into. 35.5. But yeah, at the moment, still pretty bullish. And that would correct things as well, because if this one starts heading up, then it actually makes sense with the yen pairs. But we'll see. Okay, so we'll go through some USD pairs. Yeah, we'll go through gold as well. We'll take a look at the USD. Is anyone trading any USD pairs? Because yeah, we've seen a bit of movement for them yesterday because they were very bearish yesterday when I just finished the stream, and then they sort of slowed down and started gaining some strength. But as I mentioned for Euro, I'm long Euro at the moment off this low here. Really nice rejection this morning. Nice confluence down the higher time frames. And all I'm looking for really is a balance. I'm not looking for a big swing here. I do think I'm trading in the opposite direction to the momentum at the moment. So it's really a trade which I'm going to be a bit more aggressive in terms of the management. I'm not going to give it so much room. I'm going to trail a bit more aggressively, especially when the market is as choppy as this as well. So yeah, I'm looking for a push back into the high here. Sure, there is a possibility that maybe I do, catch the bottom of a big swing like this, possibly, but I think that's a bit of an unrealistic proposition, especially when the market is this corrective. If it was a bit cleaner, we saw more momentum, I might go for a big move like that, but not in these conditions. So yeah, with Euro USD currently long, looking for a bounce off this 1.0784 level, and I'm looking for a push back into 1.094. And that's the plan of that one. As the USD, I don't really have too much to say here because, again, originally this is the low I was looking to buy from. That broke ages ago. Now the next big level for me is the area down here at 0.585, or at least level that I would consider buying from. Right now, the market is pretty corrective, so it does tell me that at some point we're likely to see some upside. You can see the 4 hour here, very, very corrective price action. I do think we're eventually gonna, see something like that, but it's just not a trade for me to take. It's a big ranging market. We're not coming back into a big level. Maybe you can probably talk about this area here on the left, but I think it's a bit of a reach. So yeah, NZUSD just for me trading a bit middle of nowhere really. So NZUSD I'll stay away from. Pound USD broke structure yesterday, so again, it's a similar situation with Euro. I'm looking for a pullback, but most likely to form a lower high for the market to continue falling. Maybe the bigger move is still to the upside because this is our major swing low, and that's our major swing high. So maybe the market wants to continue being a little bit bearish for some time before eventually, pushing back up again, forming another higher low, another higher high. So this larger trend could still be looking to continue, but in the meantime, we have broken structure. So I would expect at least another drop for pound on the daily chart there. So yeah, price is still pretty corrective. We haven't really broken out of this channel really yet. So I still think we're likely going to see a push up, but I just think it will top out somewhere and then drop. I was highlighting this area here last week. I'm not too sure if we can get all the way back up there again, but that would be a nice place for a short if we were to get there, 1.325. But I am looking for a lower high now for pound USD. So pullback, lower high continuation is really the plan. And I would watch out because we still do have this resistance just above us there, which could still send us down. But maybe if we can break above that, that could be a nice little setup, maybe sometime next week. So yeah, pound USD, I'm looking for a pullback, but overall still pretty bearish. And if we do see that pullback, great. But I think the shorts are still the bigger move. So that's what longer term I'll be interested in, something like that. Dollar CAD back at major resistance now. I mean, not actually quite there yet. I was looking for price to come a little bit higher before we do have that pullback. This is the area I'm looking at price coming into. 1.38834. Again, the market's not perfect. If I kind of just draw a box around that, that's roughly where price is struggling. So we're back at major resistance mostly. So I think it is time for dollar CAD to have a bit of a breather now. And it looks like we are seeing signs of that happening. We saw some nice rejection last week. Market pushed up a little bit higher. Now we got a few more wicks there to the upside as well. So the market is still struggling. And looking at the 4 hour, we're really seeing these kind of big push failure. So tells me that dollar CAD may be wanting to go through that retracement now, especially if it looks like dollar might be falling as well. So dollar CAD for me, I'm expecting some retracement. I did say I was looking for some buys in the retest of this level here, but it never happened. Maybe that's where price is going to sell towards. I'm not really looking to take advantage of the sell either. I'm already trading euro, so there's no need for me to do that, to be honest. But I do think we're going to see some downside now for dollar CAD. Dollar CHF, another one I'm looking for downside, but again, I'm mainly looking to sell up at that high. Aussie dollar, I'm looking for some buys at this low. Really nice descending channel there. Now we're back at major support, looking for us to break out that channel. And when we do, I think that'll be the catalyst to really get us going. And then gold and silver is just gold and silver. Looking for pullbacks and buys. We did see a lot of downside yesterday. I was getting excited because there might have been a trade for me to take. Looking at it again, I'm not too sure I'll get it. But silver, I'm looking at the retest of this high here at 32.5, 32.6. We did see some nice downside yesterday, but it's already looking pretty bullish again. So I don't know, maybe silver's going to keep pushing up to the upside. That's the case. That's the case. It's going to be a trade without me. But if silver can roll over, I'm looking at a buy here at 32.6, looking for some entries there. And yeah, just looking to take that as far as possible. Gold, likewise, as well. We've got major resistance here. We had a lovely breakout, no retest. So this is where I'm looking for price to come back into. Who knows, maybe this afternoon we get another sell. That'll be very nice indeed. Get the retest. And then, yeah, I'll just keep trading and seeing how far I can take it. But again, I'm not going to take both. I'll just see which one gives me the better opportunity, and I'll take that one. But in terms of the analysis, gold and silver, very, very bullish. Okay, so you're looking at euro, pound, and Aussie. Oh, okay, you're looking at those USD pairs. I was a bit confused. What's up, Poppy? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. You still keeping an eye on NOK? I thought you meant euro, pound, and then AUD and ZE. But you're talking about euro USD, pound USD, Aussie USD, New Zealand USD. So what are you looking to do with those USD markets then? I think it does depend what time frames you're looking at as well, because of course everything's been pretty bearish on the USD markets. They've been falling. So if you're on an intraday level, you're kind of looking for those sells, short-term sells. If you're looking for a bit more of a swing, then you're probably looking at some buys, because the market's had some really big drops, especially for euro, which is another reason why I got involved. Pound USD had a nice drop, not as big as euro. Aussie dollars had a nice drop as well. So we are at some areas where we're likely to have a bit of a bounce. It's just about how far that bounce will go. It might be a small bounce, it might be a really big bounce. And of course, the currency strength will play a big role. But I'm expecting a bit of a reaction there for the USD pairs, and definitely one for the dollar as well. Coming into major resistance at 104.5. Already starting to see the signs of that happening. We've been moving in this ascending channel for a while. And I'm anticipating price to finally break out of that. Oh. So yeah, if we can get a solid close below, hopefully that will be the start of some downside. But yeah, I am looking at some downside now for dollar. Really, really big move. I do think we're hitting some heights where we'll probably start to struggle and see some downside. It has been interesting in the world of indices as well. I've been keeping an eye on NAS, US 30, S&P. Seen a bit of downside, but for me, I'm still looking at that as retracement for price to keep pushing higher. So for NAS, I think the buys still look good. In fact, I think they're ready. I think the train's left the station a little bit already with these guys, because we had the major high on the left over here. Price came back for the retest. And yeah, it's already seen a lot of upside since then. But again, for NAS, I'm still looking for us to push back into the high here on the left, which is to 2,600. I think price is just going to nestle back at the high there. If you look at the S&P, I think the S&P came back for a really nice retest on the high here. Yes, it did. I think that's just going to push back to some new highs, and US 30 now is right back in this area. This area is going to be acting as support. So again, if we can hold on to this, I do think we will just fly back to the high. So with the indices, yes, a bit of downside, but I just anticipate that to be retracement. If you look at the conditions of the market and what we've been doing, expecting retracement in that market and more upside is a pretty realistic idea, because the market has just been so consistent with that. So until I see some major signs that the market is not having a pullback, maybe showing break of structures or really heavy bearish momentum, then I'll rethink and reanalyze and look at things again. But generally speaking, this downside here doesn't change characteristic. So this is just a pullback for the market to go higher. Same thing for S&P and same thing for NAS as well. And NAS was still way away from our all-time high, so I like the buys. You have a 4.1 short on Euro Aussie, okay. Going well, but it's a 50-50. Well, I suppose every trade's a 50-50. It could either work or fail. The important thing is that you took the trade for the right reasons. I haven't really been a big fan of the crosses, to be honest. So I haven't really been looking at them much in my personal trading. So like Euro Aussie, Pound Aussie, Euro NZD, I haven't really been looking at these guys much because they're just been consolidating quite a lot. USD pairs have seen a bit of movement. They've been a bit choppy, to be fair, as well. But the yen pairs are moving quite well. So I'm hoping for some setups there next week with the yen pairs. But in terms of some of these crosses, they've just been crossing themselves up because the price action been very messy. But you said you're short in Euro Aussie. Where's your targets? What type of move you're looking for? You're looking for a big swing, or you're looking to take your profits pretty early? What you're looking for? I'm guessing maybe you're looking at push back into the low here, 1.61451. I think that's a pretty realistic move to be looking for. Yeah, I think that's pretty realistic to be looking for, given the conditions and what price is doing. We have seen a pretty big drop. It looks like the market is really struggling on the retest of this low here. So that's providing some nice resistance up above. And we have seen some nice downside from that area recently. And if you can keep that up and not break through it, then you probably are going to see price spill over. And the next obvious low for price to come and test is definitely 1.61451. Maybe if you get the break of that, we can probably look at a push into the low there. But I think that's a little bit more on the greedy side of things. Maybe you can take most of your profit and leave some positions to run to see if we can get there. But you do run the risk of something like that happening, especially with Euro Aussie being such a choppy pair. You probably don't want to leave too much to chance, really. And if you do get back to that low, I think that's a great place to book some profits or just call it a day. But yeah, in terms of downside, I do agree with the bias. The market's really struggling at that low there. I do think longer term, Euro Aussie's got a lot of downside in the tank. But because of how it's been moving, it's just the market that I'll stay away from. And for the same reasons, Pound NZD as well, Euro NZD as well. Just don't like how the market's been moving. Struggling to break the high here. So maybe we see some downside from that. But again, difficult for me to get a solid trade opportunity and a solid entry because I'm just not seeing much momentum in a particular direction. So yeah, that's why I've stayed away. But yeah, there's been some opportunities, especially if you're looking for mean reversion, which I think, Poppy, you like mean reversion. Yeah, markets like this would be ideal to trade if you're looking to catch those highs, catch those lows. Yeah, this is a market that probably will give you a lot of those opportunities, at least at this moment in time anyway. CGF pairs still looking pretty bearish there. Probably will go through them. It's been difficult to find entries though. Matladi Tishebo. I hope I'm saying your name correctly. I think the dollar's getting strong again. Well, it depends what horizon you're looking at. You're looking at longer term, like next month worth of price action, or you're looking for the rest of the week type of thing. In terms of the rest of the week, I think price is at a nice level where we can probably see some downside now for dollar. I think we can probably see USD take a bit of a breather, and it probably will just be a retracement. So although the market is having a nice range and possibly could see a swing all the way back to the low, I think that's a bit of too optimistic outlook to have. So with the dollar, I do think shorter term will probably see some downside, but I think longer term price may still be fighting to push higher. So I'm looking at some weakness. We'll see how far that weakness lasts. I think there probably is still a bit more upside for us to see. In terms of the fundamentals, is not really my focus. I'm only focused on the technicals and looking to trade that. I'm a very technical based trader, so I'm trading the patterns. As with inflation, interest rates, whether they raise them or decrease them again, that's not really my concern. Well, it is, but where more my focus lies is how price reacts to that. So whatever they do at the next meeting, and whatever they decide, I'm going to see how price reacts to that, and then that will come. That'll give me my bias of what I want to do next. And at the moment, because of where price is trading, I'm looking for a bit of a breather there on the dollar. But I do think we probably will find some support at some point and then push up a little bit higher after that, which is why for my euro longs, I'm looking for a shorter term move. And then maybe as we approach some of these areas, we might sell off and have a bigger sell. And I might entertain the idea for some of those sells if it looks good, but I'll cross that bridge when we get to that. At the moment, still looking for a buy off that low there, and hopefully we can get a push back into that area at least. But yeah, for the meantime, I do think we'll see some weakness in the dollar, which will probably help NAS 100 see some upside, S&P US 30 as well. Bitcoin's been pretty interesting as well. And of course, if dollar is a little bit weak, that probably will help dollar Bitcoin push up too. But Bitcoin is a little bit more elements to consider with Bitcoin though. We did have some nice downside for Bitcoin yesterday, but it hasn't really amounted to much. Ethereum looked a lot bearish and actually closed pretty bearish too. But Bitcoin left a big wick. So I'm pretty undecided with Bitcoin, to be honest. Because to me, it looks like price is having a breakout, but because of the lack of momentum, it looks more like a fake out to me. And now we're back inside the range here. So now this looks to me like a big fake out, and probably price could be seeing a big move down back to the 50K area, which is definitely a possibility, but I need to see a bit more momentum. I need to see the market, break back inside heavily and close strongly as well, not provide a big wick. Maybe today's candle we go and fill that wick and look very bearish. If that's the case, then I'll analyze for that and see how we close. But equally, we could push back up again, and now it looks like the market is breaking out too. So in terms of what I'm looking at for the breakout, I need price to break back above 70K. If we can do that, break above 70K, then yeah, I'm very bullish on Bitcoin. I do think we can see a lot of upside. If not, if the market just holds into that high, then yeah, we can go for a really big drop back to 50K. So Bitcoin really in limbo right now. Price action not helping too much in terms of what we're going to do next, but I think over the next couple of days we'll probably find out what's likely price is going to do. Looking for retracements 103.2. Whereabouts is that? 103. Let me just delete some of my drawings here just to clean up the chart a little bit. So you're looking for 103.2, 103.2, it's roughly around here. So yeah, I'm looking for a similar drop there for dollar as well. I'm looking for 103.4, which is this low here, which gave us quite a lot of momentum there. So I'm looking for us to come back and retest that area. So I'm liking the downside here for the dollar. Come back into a nice area. The market's very stretched. So we're likely going to see price hit a high and see some downside at some point. So I do think the likelihood of us seeing that retracement is pretty high. It's just about when it does happen and how far it goes. We've got some news this afternoon, so we'll see how that affects the market. But really, I do think we'll see that bearish momentum. Hence why I got into some longs on euro. I think gold and silver just don't really care what price is doing with USD. They're just gonna be bullish regardless. So yeah, we're gonna see how that going. That's the only position I'm in. There's nothing else that has really suited my fancy or looked good really. Like I said, I'm kind of waiting for a little bit more information with the yen pairs before I make a decision of what I'm going to do with those crosses, because some of them are trading at some really big levels on the weekly chart here. You can see a massive swing high there. Now back at that same area again. Really hefty drop from that level, and could be the start of a really big head and shoulder pattern. Left head, right shoulder. I'm seeing the same thing with the dollar yen. Left head, right shoulder, and same thing with CAD yen to an extent. Left head and obviously right shoulder there as well. So we're at some real pivotal areas on these yen pairs where it could be the start of a massive trend. So I'm not going to be looking for buys just yet, at least from a swing bias anyway. And if you see some nice rejection this week and next week, we see that momentum really, come into play, then I'm going to be looking at a lot of downside and hopefully some pullbacks to short. Just want to avoid no man's land range. What do you mean by that? So you're talking about the larger range here in the weekly chart, or are you talking about like a smaller range somewhere? Because if you're looking at the higher time frames, then this is kind of no man's land, really, the middle here. But if you're more talking about the intraday price action in terms of momentum here to the upside, then we've got this channel we're working with, which is what I'm waiting for price to break out to see some downside from. But yeah, dollar's just been so bullish. I'm just expecting it to have that retracement pretty soon. In terms of the CHF currencies, again, CHF currency just not looking good, to be honest. There might be a nice buy with New Zealand CHF, but I've had a look at the other CHF pairs and they're just looking way too corrective. And I'm just not seeing anything really going on in terms of opportunities. So yeah, with all of the other yen pairs, it's a hard pass. I mean, I'm not looking to get involved with New Zealand CHF, but at least I can make some sense of this one on the higher time frames. We're back at a really big level on the weekly/daily chart, an area where we could go through a pretty major bounce if we hold. If we break through, then I'm looking at 0.50478, but I would expect us to hold. Oh, okay. No man's range is the daily range. Okay. I didn't know that. I know, of course, no man's land is just an area which you don't want to be in, which for me is just the middle of a range. But you're specifically talking about the range between the daily high and the daily low. So you want to be inside of there, you want to be outside of there, I'm guessing. Which makes sense, to be fair, because if the market is outside of that, you're likely to see momentum. So yeah, I can see the logic behind that. But for me, when I refer to no man's land, what I'm talking about is just the range, like what we're seeing with New Zealand yen, which is vanished. Where is New Zealand yen? It's not there. Maybe I accidentally deleted it. So yeah, New Zealand yen textbook range here, and definitely a market which I want to stay away from, as long as we stay within that area. Okay, change stop loss to 0.37. Yeah, I mean, again, whether you lose the position or not is not the most important thing. The important thing is the actions you took and why you took the trade. If it made sense, follow the plan. Fit your fit the plan. That's the most important thing. Whether it fails or not, to an individual trade is very, very trivial. You can't base whole plans and trading success on a single trade. Trades will fail, trades will work, but you have to be making sure that you're doing the right things beforehand. So, yeah, I mean, it doesn't look good breaking through 72 there. And maybe, yeah, price is going to continue pushing up, or maybe it's a fake out for price to push back down. You've got your stop loss there for a reason. See out the trade, you put the stop loss there to safeguard your loss. If the price is going to hit the stop loss, it's going to hit the stop loss. And you look for the next position. You move on to the next one. As long as you're betting healthy amounts or taking healthy trades with healthy risks, then taking a loss isn't the end of the world. Taking a loss isn't the end of the world as long as you took it for the right reasons. If you didn't follow your plan and you took a silly trade, then yeah, that's when there's an issue. All right, no problem. CS integrated. No worries, man. What's up, Harry? Okay, please review Aussie CAD. We're going to go through some CAD pairs. Good. Yeah, risk management, position size, very, very important. There's no point of taking a good trade, but you risked 0.1%, and then taking a really bad trade and you risk 10%. If you sort out your risk management, depending on your risk to reward, you can take a good trade, a bad trade, and still be in profit. But if your risk was just completely skewed, and then you could be in a big loss unnecessarily. So making sure that your risk is pre-planned and you know exactly how much you're going to risk per trade, and keeping it healthy is what's going to keep you in the game long run. Not necessarily hitting great trade after great trade after great trade, because you won't do that for forever. You will take some losses, so you need to make sure that your risk is managed and you're only risking healthy proportions of your account. But we'll go through the CAD pairs. We'll go for Aussie CAD, Pound CAD, Euro CAD, see what's cooking over there. Okay, 2 trades in the same time. Yeah, that's a healthy amount as well. I think 2, 3 tops is kind of a healthy amount. Any more than that, then you're kind of a little bit all over the shop. But then it does depend on the person as well. What's up, Holy One? Hope you're doing good. Welcome. But then it does depend on the person as well. If you're swing trading, you can get away with a bit more positions because it takes longer to play out. Whereas if you're day trading, you're pretty active in the markets, then you don't want to be in so many positions because you're going to have to be watching the charts like a hawk, and you have to consistently view the markets. But if you're swing trading, if you've got 3 positions, you checking them every few hours, you can manage that a little bit better. But anyway, in terms of the CAD pairs, so it does look like CAD is a little bit strong today, but not so much against Aussie, not so much against New Zealand, pound and euro. Against the dollar it is though. But yeah, for Aussie CAD, so yeah, Aussie CAD's back at some major support now, and if we can break through this and we do it well, I think that can open up some doors to some really nice shorts. Let's say we see a strong break of that. I think some pullbacks like this, like a really nice short to me. We've got consecutive lower highs now, one over there, 2, 3, 4 there as well. So if you can get price to break through, look for that next one. You've got a lovely low here to aim for there as well. And it could be the start of a bigger reversal, because this might just be a bigger correction, of the bearish momentum we've seen in the past. And now we could be seeing price looking for the next swing back down. In fact, if I kind of just map out this ascending channel as such, we could be seeing a push back to the lower end of the channel, which is closer to this 0.905 area, if you will. So Really, the move I'm looking for is, okay, we've hit the top end of the channel, price had a nice reaction, we're starting to consolidate a little bit. If we can break that floor, break through that support, look for some retests, then yeah, that to me looks like a nice place for a short. And then we've got the lower end of the channel to aim for. Maybe we have another bounce, maybe we break through. We'll make that decision when we get to that. But for now, that's kind of what I'll be eyeing up for New Zealand CAD. New Zealand CAD, Aussie CAD, and expecting a lot more downside. Okay, ooh, look at that. Aussie Chef, Euro NZD, Euro Aussie New Zealand Seat Chef. Wow, all those positions smash. Still letting gold buy. Okay. You took some buys on golds early on. Yeah, I'm looking to buy gold as well, but I just don't think the retracement will be that big. I'll go through gold in a moment. Let me just continue with the CAD pairs. So yeah, New Zealand CAD, similar situation as well. We've got a massive ascending channel here with these higher lows, as we can see. Really nice kind of proportional market here. It's kind of perfectly ranging in that area. Really nice rejection of the high. We've come straight back down. So again, if we can break through this area, it probably will just take us to the lower end of the channel here. I would say probably keep an eye on that level there, around just above 0.82. But if we can break through that, that probably will give us a bit more downside there for NZD CAD too. I think Aussie CAD is definitely the cleaner option. Looks a little bit tidier. So that would be the one I'll be waiting for. But it's nice to see that NZD CAD is lining up in a similar bias because they're very similar currencies as well. Pound CAD, again, is at an area where it could be time to retrace and see some downside, but not really seeing the signs for it just yet, or at least opportunities to trade that yet. We are still, pushing to the upside, still seeing higher lows. So we very much could see another swing back to the upside. So for me, the sells are not ready yet. I've talked about the buys. I mentioned a nice retest of the high here. Looks good. Looks like we did come back down for another retest there. So possibly we could see another push to the upside, maybe back into the high, over here. But I wouldn't be looking to do anything crazy with pound CAD because, yeah, it is coming to its last legs. It's starting to come to major resistance again. I wouldn't be looking for big moves with pound CAD at these prices. So, yeah, pound CAD to me is still pretty bullish, still seeing these high lows. Sure, it's coming up to a time where we're going to see some retracement come into play, but I would wait for price to go and break through some structure first and then look for some opportunities to short. Yeah. And then EuroCAD is just sideways. Not much for this pair at all. If we can break through that, I think some nice shorts back into the low there. But again, you have to look for a trade that far. Some major resistance around there too. If you can get a nice break of that, you've got a pretty clean range to look at. 1.49 back into 1.475. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with EuroCAD as well. But really, across the boards, I'm looking at downside for the CAD pairs. Looking at downside. Jay from iPhones who don't really have analysis to show. So do you just like kind of analyze so do you just like look at the chart and just like, I don't know how to explain it, because of course with analysis you're kind of drawing out lines, looking at crosses and so yeah, I assume so. Your analysis is just looking at the chart and then waiting for the trade to line up. Okay, got into gold 5 hours ago, 27.28 going into 27.50. Okay, we'll have a look at gold. I'm looking to buy it, but I don't think it's going to retrace enough. Same with silver as well. Oh, okay. I mean, even if you use indicators, there's still stuff to show really, because you're kind of showing the overlap of the indicators. Like for example, okay, RSI is overbought. We're seeing a moving average crossover. We'll pull back into 0.618 fib, and then I'm looking to sell something like that. But of course, it's up to you. You don't have to show or whatever. I'm a roaming trader, analyze from the phone and trade as well. I think we're seeing more people do that, trade from the phone. I mean, I'm a big fan of desktop because I like my big screen and I do a lot of drawings in terms of mapping out support and resistance and looking at candlesticks as well. So trading from the phone is not really ideal for me. I definitely need my screens for that. Not screens in terms of plural, but at least a screen for that. What's up, Antonio? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing good. Yeah, of course, Holy One. There you can. Let me have a look at gold. Yeah, so that was the level I was looking to buy from, which at one point I was getting excited because it looked like prices was going there. Really, really big candle yesterday. So I was like, oh, okay, gold. We're seeing some downside now, but nope, it's bullish again. So yeah, again, I'm just seeing how far I can to take gold. Same with silver as well. Those are the buy opportunities I'm looking at. These guys are very bullish on the high time frames, monthly, weekly, daily, 4 hour. All the major time frames are all pointing up. So that tells me that I'm just only looking to buy if I see a nice opportunity, and then I'll trail and just see how far I can take it. I'm not going to have any take profits for these guys because I just don't know how far they'll go. And it could end up being a monster trade. So with gold, hopefully you can get some downside. Maybe not so much for your sake, Holy One, but for my sake, I'm hoping we can retrace back to 26.80 still. Likewise for silver too, back to 32.9. Find some entries there, and then yeah, sky's the limit with these two. But you got involved around 27.28. So 27.28, 27.28. That's like there. And then 27.50, 27.50. Okay, that's around here-ish. Okay. So not bad, about halfway there-ish. Momentum's looking good as well, so hopefully that can continue. But yeah, I'm still looking for a little bit more downside for gold. So I'll be waiting on that. But yeah, pretty nice 4 hour closure this morning anyway. So momentum for the bulls is definitely back in town. I love posted. Okay, posted. Um, okay, yeah, I see it. Hey, you've done some drawings there. You've got a nice little red box around it. Done some drawings. Um, we expect to keep going up to 27.60. So you're mentioning the high basically. So we expect gold to keep pushing 27.60, or will it pull back? Well, yeah. Again, things can happen really quickly. Things can happen really quickly. I don't think it's guaranteed for us to get there because this was a pretty big drop yesterday. So I wouldn't be surprised if this is a pullback, price finds resistance somewhere, and then drops back down again. So I wouldn't be surprised at that happening. Same thing for silver as well. I mean, this could potentially be a head and shoulder pattern. So I wouldn't be surprised seeing downside, but I think just because of the nature of the market being so bullish, there's still so much momentum in it. I think the chances are we're probably likely to keep pushing up rather than having that pullback. But in terms of what I'm looking for, I know what I'm looking for. I know where I'm looking for it to happen as well. So it really just is a waiting game to see if price will push there or not. Otherwise, then yeah, gold might just keep flying and keep pushing higher. But yeah, there's a good chance we do push up, but I wouldn't write off another pullback though. There is a possibility of it happening. Yeah, so there's a bit of analysis there, hoodie one. There's a bit of analysis there. Um, well, I'm looking to sell because the support hasn't been broken for a while. Because I'm not really looking, again, the style of trading I look at is normally for momentum. I'm normally looking for price to make a big move and looking to follow it. So I don't typically trade within ranges. 99% of the time, I'm not looking to trade within a range. And that's exactly what EuroCAD is doing. We've got a lovely low here and a lovely high there. So effectively, if you're looking to buy low and sell high, this is a good market for it. So as you can see, the market has rebounded a few times, 1, 2, 3. So if you're looking to catch a nice bounce off the low, something like this, maybe back into resistance, I think that's a nice trade there to look for. But that's not in my plan. That's not really my type of trading style. My trading style is looking for momentum in a certain direction and looking to try and take moves back in that direction. That's kind of what I base my trading on, not sideways markets and looking to buy low and sell high and play ranges. So this is not really my type, my trade. But if we were to break through, then that would be more along the lines of my type of style, because at that point, price is now breaking through. We're committing to the downside, and because of where we're trading in the higher time frame, the fact is we're still really just failing to break the high up there. I do think there's going to be a lot of downside for EuroCAD, and probably a mini trend will form back to some of these prices here. So that's why I'm looking to short, because that's kind of where I'm anticipating momentum to come to next. But yeah, you're definitely right. Price is still holding on to support. The buys still look good. In fact, we're still rejecting pretty nice wicks there on that 4-hour candle. So the buys look good, but it's just not a trade which I look to take. But if you're looking for a range play, then that is your opportunity there, right at the low of the range or right at the high, and you're looking for that to turn around. But it's a good question. It's a good question. Lepara, okay, looking to short pound USD. Okay, on the 1 hour. Okay, we'll take a look at that. Yeah, true. We do have news coming out. Let me just have a quick look. I think we got PMI. Is it 1:30 or 3 o'clock for USD? Okay, so we've got initial jobless claims at 1:30, which is in about 2 hours' time. I think that might be the news you're referring to. And then we've got PMI for dollar as well at 2:45. So we've got news at 1:30 and 2:45. So yeah, we do have news that could affect gold's price. Definitely affect USD. So that could definitely affect gold. But yeah, gold, that news may give gold a kick to keep pushing higher, or maybe we do top out and see some retracement. Again, me as a technical trader, I'm just focused on my opportunity and what I'm looking for. If news creates that opportunity for me in terms of moving it to my level, or give me an entry signal, then great. If it just sends gold to the moon and gold keeps flying, then there's nothing for me to do anyway, because gold never set up for me, and it's just continuing its trend. So yeah, very much well we could continue, but I would I'm just going to wait for the opportunity and see if it happens. It's up to gold if it's going to give me the opportunity or not. Natural therapy in a silver trade. Okay, we'll have a look at silver because I'm liking the buys on silver and gold. No problem. Happy to help. Okay, let me go have a look at silver. If I have missed out a pair, that's a market that someone's requested because I feel like I have. But if I haven't, great. If I have missed out a pair, just drop it down in the chat again and we'll make sure I take a look. But in terms of silver, you had a position going. This is where I'm looking to buy, firstly, around 32.9. But yeah, price is looking really bullish, so we might not see that retracement there. But you've got an entry 33.930. 33.930. So that's roughly around here somewhere. Looks like you entered a similar time to Holy One. Take profit 34.56. So near enough the high. A bit underneath it. And your stop loss is 33.739. Somewhere around there. Okay, so the risk reward is looking pretty good there. Risk reward is looking pretty good for entry there. Probably looking at 1 to 3 maybe, or 2.5, something like that. So I'm liking the risk rewards, looking good. You've entered a nice little area here where prices found some support there on the 4 hour and struggled to break through. So we're kind of using that to our advantage. And yeah, price is looking pretty bullish. I think the main obstacle for you is this level on the left, which price is stalling at a little bit. I think same for Holy One as well. But you can see we're sort of struggling at that area there. So if price is going to turn against you, I'm not too sure if you're going to break even or your risk is still on the table. But if we are going to sell off, it's probably from this area. So if you do see a nice close above, you probably it's probably price just going to continue to take profit and probably push back to the high. So I think this is your main obstacle. Yeah, and if you do see a big rejection there, maybe it's a sign to move your stop loss to break even, or maybe close some of the positions. It's up to you, of course, how you want to manage that trade. But yeah, I think it looks really good. I think the only worry is this level here. If you can break through that, then you're looking really good. So yeah. What's up, Lauder? Welcome. Hope you're doing good. Thoughts on New Zealand yen? Okay, we'll take a look. Yeah, I mean, you're in a bit of profit, so you can probably afford to move your stop loss to break even. I mean, it might go for my entry. It's up to the market, of course. It might fly for the news. It might pull back. We don't know these things. We can only just take the trades that are in front of us and let the market do what the market wants to do. As long as you're protecting your downside, managing risk, managing the trade, then you let the market do its thing. And if it does pull back down to my area, you can probably find another opportunity to get back in at some point as well. So worst case scenario, you just find another entry at a later date. But yeah, maybe the market does get there. I mean, that's where my confidence lies. So that's what I'll be waiting for. But yeah, it's looking pretty bullish, and we'll see what the news does give us this afternoon. Oh yeah, pound USD I was meant to go through. Okay, I'll go through pound USD first. Then we'll take a look at New Zealand yen. And yeah, I was talking about gold. I said natural therapy had a similar trade entry to your gold position. It looked like you guys entered at the same time. But of course, you're trading gold and they're trading silver. Yeah, JPY is interesting, Poppy. Very interesting. Very interesting. We'll discuss oil in a moment. Let me just go through GU and New Zealand yen. So I believe Lepar, you said you're looking for some shorts in GU, if I remember correctly. Yes, you are looking at some shorts. So yeah, GU, I think. Well, okay, I'll tell you what I'm looking for. Then I'll discuss your proposition. So with pound USD, because again, I'm looking at more of a higher time frame, and I think you're looking intraday. But we've broken through this low. So to me, that's a bearish signal because we've got some lovely bullish structure, seeing higher highs and higher lows. And the market's going to broken through that. That's a no-no for the bullish structure. So that's telling me that likely we're probably going to see a bigger dive to the downside. But before we do take that bigger move down, I do think we're probably going to have a bigger pullback first before that move. How big that pullback may be, I have no idea. It may just be within the channel. It may be all the way back up to here, and we form some type of head and shoulder pattern as well. So that's up to the market, but I do expect us to keep falling. So I am bearish longer term on pound. However, at the moment, we're still very much trading in this descending channel. So I do think the market is likely going to have some upside. But if you're looking to short on the lower time frames, I think if you're looking to short, around this area where we're retesting the low here, support term resistance, and retesting the higher end of the channel, that looks like a nice place for a short. If price is going to break through that, then I don't think the shorts look good anymore intraday. At that point, we're probably going to see that pullback I was just referring to, and then maybe see the continuation next week or the week after, or whenever pound decides it wants to fall. So shorts look good intraday, but this is the only area which looks good to me because yes, we're trading that channel. We've got that to our back, so we've got a solid level of resistance above us. Now it was support, now acting resistance. So I think shorts around 1.3 look good, but if that doesn't hold and price breaks through, then I'm not a big fan of the shorts anymore intraday. So if you're looking in that area, great. But I would watch out because we're very corrective. And typically when the market is correcting like this, it's a sign that we're getting ready for up move most of the time. Most of the time. So yeah, I would keep an eye on price around there, 1.3, and that could make or break your trade really. So that's what I'll be looking at intraday. Okay. So yeah, I'll go for New Zealand yen and then oil as well. All right, Will, take care, my man. Have a good one. That's actually a good idea. I actually should do that. Add a small square in the corner, since I do forget to say it. Yes, so true. It's very poor of me, actually, that I forget to say that. But yeah, guys, please do like and subscribe if you guys are enjoying the content, find it useful, informative, educational, whatever. If you guys are enjoying it, please show some love. It does help out. And of course, hit the bell too so you don't miss out on any streams or uploads in the future. But that's actually a good point. I'll have to sort that out, actually, Will. But yeah, we'll catch you tomorrow, though. We'll catch you tomorrow. I will be live again later today as well, people, on Trader Nick's stream. So if you guys are free this afternoon or a couple of hours from now, 3 hours from now, a couple of hours from now, check out Nick's stream because I'll be live there too. Yeah, I do need an ET logo as well in the corner. I mean, I've got the one in the wall, but probably can get like a little one in the corner somewhere as well. Mate, my corners are going to be filled up. We're gonna have probably ET up here, like and subscribe up here, hit the bell down there or something. I don't know. And of course, you've got me in the bottom left. Oh, that's actually better. Yeah, that's actually better. That's actually better. The watermark idea is good. But then again, I've got the currency pairs though. I don't know. Do people like the watermark in the background with the currency pairs? Because I never used to have the watermark, but because people were complaining on the stream, so they don't know which market I'm looking at, so that's why I have the watermark there. But if I was to change that to ET, then of course you'd lose that pound USD daily time frame. So do people find that useful, the watermark behind me, in terms of what market I'm looking at? I normally do say what market I'm looking at, but yeah, I can understand that may be helpful. So it's a good idea, though. It's a good idea. It's gonna be one cloud to stream. Yeah, exactly. Cloud to stream so much you're not gonna have. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I mean, there is like different things, like because I could do this, and then you could like have something like above and below me, because that's what Nick does. He's got screens above and below, so I could do that. Um, yeah, so I can play around with it. We'll see. We'll see. I'm not gonna make any decisions now. But yeah, we'll go through New Zealand yen before I forget. So New Zealand yen. So as we said, the yen pairs are looking pretty interesting. So I do think that the yen pairs aren't quite confirmed yet. Maybe apart from Swiss yen with its big breakout, but even that could look a bit dodgy if we pull back by the end of the week and we kind of hold on to this level here. So New Zealand yen still trading at major resistance. This is still an area where I do think we can have a really big sell-off from. But I'm not going to speak too much about New Zealand yen until we break out of this range, because as long as we're in that middle of the range, I'm not really interested in price. If we see a nice daily candle closure above, great. Then I'm going to be speaking about the pullbacks, the retest, the buys. If we get a break to the downside, great as well. I'll be speaking about the opposite, some retests to then short back into the low here, back into the low there, so on and so forth. So there's opportunities for New Zealand yen above and below. But in here, it's indecisive. I mean, you can look to short now because we're still holding onto that resistance and we're trading that range high. So you can look for the more aggressive trade and then try and expect price to break out, or at least trade the width of the not the width, the height of the range there. So that is a trade in itself, but really I'm waiting for the breakouts because that's when the momentum will come into the market. So yeah, waiting for us to break up or break down, and then I'll be a bit more helpful on New Zealand yen. But right now, I'm kind of just staying neutral, waiting for those breakouts, really. Nothing much to report on for this one for the past 3 weeks, really. Just been back and forth, back and forth. Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, your eyes are trained to look at the bold writing. Yeah, since the Kadri was tiny left corners, and if I do put something in the corner as well, and then you won't be able to see that. So I think the watermark might have to stay, or maybe I can find something that has ET in it, but also shows the currency as well. Yeah, I don't know if that's possible actually, because that changes with the chart, but in the ET, I have to look into that. But definitely like a little something in the top right corner, because there's nothing up here of value at all. So I can put something there, maybe the bottom right as well. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with New Zealand yen. And like I said, with the other yen pairs, I'm not completely sold yet. They're still trading at some massive levels. CAD yen. Where's Euro yen gone to? Keep accidentally deleting markets out of my watch list. Do you know how that happens? So yeah, even with Euro yen trading at major resistance here too, we could easily see a big sell-off from here. I would not be surprised. And dollar yen as well, massive resistance here. Could very much see a big sell-off from there. So yes, the yen pairs have seen a lot of momentum over the past few days, couple of weeks, but we're coming back into some big levels now, which could be the start of a big move back down. So I want to see how we close by the end of the week, and then I'll make my decisions on the weekend, what I'm looking for. What made me choose Euro over the other majors? Good question. Good question. Yeah, that is true. Don't worry about that, Ben. The ET merch is coming very, very soon. Gonna have a nice little shirt, ET logo there. That is in the pipeline. ET mug. I haven't thought of that actually. That might be a nice little idea. ET mug. Just for a little plug there. That's actually a good idea, actually, a little ET mug. Maybe I can play off the ET alien a bit as well. But yeah, in terms of euro, why I chose that currency pair, there's two reasons why I chose it. The first reason is because it's had the biggest move down. So Euro USD had the biggest drop, maybe apart from dollar CAD, that had a big move as well. But Euro USD had the biggest drop out the USD pairs. Pound did see some downside, not as much. New Zealand did see some downside. I mean, maybe that's similar. Aussie dollar, not as much there as well. Dollar CHF pushed up, but not as much. So in my book, Euro USD had one of the most, or if not the most, biggest drop. So it's the most oversold, most stretched, therefore the most likely to push back into to the upside. And the second reason is because of the confluence as well. We've come into a major trend line in the higher time frames, 1, 2, 3, fourth bounce, and come back into a really nice low here where a lot of momentum came through when we were last over here. Really big, powerful candle from there. And Euro USD is the most linked to the dollar as well in terms of the correlation. So if dollar does take a dive, 9 times out of 10, you're going to see euro do the opposite. Aussie dollar, New Zealand dollar, pound USD, a little bit less so. Of course, you're going to expect similar price action, but those guys can sometimes do other things sometimes. But if dollar is going to take a drop here, which I'm expecting it to do so, it come back into some major resistance here. I do think the dollar is likely to see some downside. Therefore, euro is pretty likely to see some upside as well. So those are the two main reasons. But I could have easily took Aussie dollar as well. Came back into a nice level too. I like how it's moving, very descending in nature. So I think Aussie dollar is likely going to push up. And again, they're all going to probably push up together or fall together. It's just euro is just very stretched and it's come into a really nice level on the daily. So that's why I went for euro. And we'll see if that was the correct decision or if I should have gone for another USD pair. But it's very stretched, so I do think we'll pull back. Because, yeah, I'm looking at this move as more of a pullback rather than a continuation of a trend. Yeah, ET bite going across the moon. I think we could play off the ET alien, ET movie. 100%. That's a nice little idea, which I have to look into because that could be a nice little running joke. ET energy drinks. I'm not sure about that, Tom. Or a prop firm, not a food and drink company. I'm not too sure we're licensed for that, mate. I can stick a nice little logo on a drink, but I don't think creating an energy drink is probably the best move, to be honest. But I like the idea though. I like the originality of it. But I'm not sure that's the best one though. But yeah, for me, Euro USD is the only market that's looked good. I mean, I said at the start of the week that the only markets I'm interested in this week so far is Euro USD longs, gold longs, and silver longs. Euro USD sets up for me. Gold and silver just look way too bullish here. So unless these guys go through a big retracement this afternoon or for some weird reason, they're probably just going to keep pushing up, and I'll probably just be left with euro, which I'm not going to complain about because I like euro. But the yen pair is not quite ready yet for me. I think I'll wait for the weekend anyway. CHF currency pairs look hideous right now, so I'm not looking to touch these guys at all. And some of the crosses are just crossing themselves up. They're not looking good for me right now. CAD pairs, not really interested either. So it's a bit slim pickings at the moment in terms of opportunities for myself, especially from a swing point of view. I find that swing opportunities normally come together quite a lot of the time. So it's either like it's nothing and you're just kind of waiting for something to happen, or you get like 5 opportunities in the same week and you kind of have to pick and choose which one you want to take as well. So because again, most of these markets are correlated, the dollar pairs are correlated, the yen pairs are correlated. So if there is going to be big drops for the yen pairs, they're all going to happen roughly the similar time. So you're going to get your signals at the same time. Maybe one on Monday, maybe another one on Tuesday, maybe 3 on Wednesday, but they're roughly going to come at the same time. So it's either you're waiting a lot or there's a lot of trades to take. And I'm in that kind of mixed period of waiting a little bit. So yeah, I have to stay patient for that, not get sidetracked. Would you long pull back on the yen pairs? No. Not yet. Not sold. I'm not convinced by the momentum just yet on the higher time frame. Sure, we've seen a lot of momentum and GJ, really nice break to the upside, but on the higher time frame point of view, no, because we've already seen a pretty big move now for GJ. So this is now coming into bearish territory from a swing standpoint on the daily chart. So we're likely going to see a big dip at some point. Maybe we push a little bit higher, but a retracement will come alive, and then maybe I start to open up to the idea of longs, maybe. But GJ looks the best one out of them. Euro yen, no, because we're still trading at major resistance here on the left. So even if this does come back down, that could easily just be price rejecting this high here, and now probably going for a big sell-off, giving us that big head and shoulder pattern. That looks like a horrendous drawing, but you guys know what I mean. So no, I'm not looking to long euro yen on the pullback. The only way I'll decide to look to long euro yen on the pullback is if it really does break through this, then yeah, I'll long that pullback because now that's to my back is acting as support. CAD yen likewise as well, trading at major resistance here. You see a little bit better on the weekly chart, but major resistance there. So I need price to really commit above that for me to now looking for pullbacks. I wouldn't anticipate a pullback to continue there because we're still trading into major resistance. So I need that to break. Aussie yen is just a little bit too corrective for me, to be honest. Maybe something like this, and then I anticipate some buys lower down. Something like that could look good, but I'm not convinced either. New Zealand yen still consolidating, so I need that to break out. Dollar yen, a similar situation as with CAD and Euro, trading at major resistance here. If we do pull back, I'm not going to buy into that now because it could be a reversal rather than a pullback. But if price was to go and break above this, then yeah, that's a real strong sign that, okay, the trend is really bullish and pullbacks are likely going to take us back to the high up there. And again, I'm not necessarily looking for that big of a swing, but at least I know I can probably find some nice buys and not be too concerned that the market's about to roll over. So yeah, we're at some awkward places, and Swish in looks pretty okay as well. I wouldn't mind some intraday opportunities here because this one's seen a lot of momentum. So some buys in the 4 hour look pretty good there as we come back to retest the high. But the other yen pairs I mentioned, apart from pound yen, all not really confirmed for me on the daily because we're trading at some major resistance levels, and they could very much sell off from those areas. So that's why I said I'm waiting for the end of the week, because the end of the week will give me some clarity. For example, if I go to dollar yen, if this weekly candle here, the current one here, was to close strongly above, that would be a nice sign. Okay, potentially we're breaking out. Then next week's candle could see some more upside, and there could be some nice buys next week. But on the other hand, if we see price pull back down and close below this area, that's a sign that price has tried to break through, failed, left behind a wick, and that could easily start a big sell-off for next week's candle. And we could really see a bearish candle come from that, kind of similar to what happened over here and over there as well. So that make or break area, and if I don't see some nice momentum breaking through, then I'm not going to try and force it. So yeah, nothing for me just yet. Take a look at US 30, of course, Lauder. We'll take a look. So yeah, US 30, I'm looking for more upside because again, nothing really has happened that has made me change my mind about the market structure. We're still so bullish, still seeing higher highs and higher lows. Very cleanly, the market hasn't done anything to tell me that the market structure is breaking or we're seeing some excessive bearish momentum. So for me, this is likely just a pullback for the market to find its feet again and continue higher. We pull back into some nice resistance there on the daily chart. So this for me is a nice area to buy from. Can probably focus a little bit more on this area here on the 4 hour around 42,400. And yeah, if we can keep this up, because we are a little bit sideways right now, but we might see another stab come New York session, but that is the move I'm looking for US 30, at least back to some of these areas where we found a bit of support there. Maybe we sell off again tomorrow potentially or next week, but I'm expecting to see a bounce from those areas. And if you are just going to see that trend continue in the higher time frames, then there's a pretty good chance of coming right back to the high at 43,300. So there's a lot of room for US 30 as well. If this is going to be the next higher low, you could be looking at a really, really big swing trade back to the high. A stop loss kind of somewhere here. But yeah, in terms of direction, I'm a big fan of US 30, S&P, NAS. They all look bullish to me on the higher time frame. So the bearish momentum we've seen over the past couple of days or so, for me, it's just a sign that the market's pulling back and probably going to continue higher. I mean, S&P is looking a lot more bullish than US 30, but I think US 30 is just lagging behind a little bit, and it probably will follow suit soon come. So yeah, US 30, more upside. Let me know what you're looking at for US 30 as well. I think it's come back into a nice bullish territory where if we can hold this, we could probably springboard back to the highs. Would you look at that? Oil's rejecting the level again. Oil's looking bearish. How's Bitcoin doing? Yeah, Bitcoin. I think I'll wait for the weekly. See what the weekly gives us, because weekly did see a lot of momentum last week, and then looks like we're just going to get a bearish candle this week probably. But the daily's kind of half-hearted breakout, then half-hearted move back down. So I need to see some momentum. I need to see some confirmation before I commit to a bias. But I'm more leaning towards the short side of things than the bias, because we failed to break through that resistance there. So I'm more tilting towards shorts than longs. Yeah, I agree, Ben. Bitcoin does not know what it wants to do. Think of the DAX. I've actually looked at the DAX in a couple of weeks now, or at least a week. Okay, so the last time I look at the DAX, I believe it was over here. So that was 17th, so about a week. So we actually did see a nice little retest there. The market used that to continue higher. Nice little retest there, and then we can push back to the high. Now it looks like we've had a bigger correction there. But all in all, the DAX is still very bullish. Let me just delete the market so we start fresh. The DAX is still very bullish and we're still flowing. So again, I expect price to come right back into the high pretty soon. In terms of opportunities, that's a nice little candle there. That could be the start of the higher low. And now we're just going to probably continue higher. If I drop to the hourly chart, I think a nice little retest of this area could look good. I would want a little bit more upside first and then the pullback. And that could be where I base a trade from. Of course, I don't trade the DAX, but if I was looking for it, that's what I'll be looking at intraday. But I would expect us just to come right back into that high again. So yeah, I would say very bullish. I mean, I looked at a few indices now, and I would be pretty bullish on all of them really. So it looks like the indices have still got a bit more upside to them. So I do think we'll probably push back into the high and then probably see a higher high as well. But I'd only be looking for buys in these conditions really. I know our all-time highs are probably going to go for a bigger pullback at some point, maybe come back and retest the high, but I'm not seeing any signs of that just yet. So onwards and upwards. Okay, looking at long, maybe during the New York. Okay. Yeah, New York will probably give you some movement because we do have two news events this afternoon. We've got jobless claims at 1:30 and then PMI at 2:45 UK time. So I do expect to see a bit of movement come New York session for the indices and dollar in general. So keep an eye on that. Yeah, I would agree as well, Ben. DAX does look one of the more bullish ones. Oh, I mean, definitely more bullish than the US ones anyway. All right, Holly One, take care, my man. We'll catch you tomorrow. But yeah, DAX is definitely one of the more bullish indices. Not really seeing signs of this one slowing down. Really nice higher highs and higher lows. But generally speaking, across the board, because we had a look at the Japanese index at the start of the stream, that one isn't looking so bullish, I have to admit, but it is coming back into an area where I do think buys look good now. Back at the low here. This was the low, which gave us that high there. Now we're coming back into that as support. I think if the Japanese index is going to move up, this is probably when it's going to do it from 37.5, stops underneath the level. I do think we can go for a bit of a bounce, which, if we do that, should help drag the yen pairs higher as well. But yeah, we'll see. Because either the index is going to go and copy the yen pairs, or the yen pairs are going to copy the index. One of the two is going to give away. Not too sure which one just yet. I know I'm not in Nick's Discord. Yeah, I remember you mentioned yesterday. That's a shame, man. That's a shame. But yeah, I don't look at stocks, so I don't think I've ever looked at McDonald's before. I know Nick sometimes trades stocks, but very rarely I see Nick trade stocks. It's always like indices mostly for him, and gold and metals. Oh, on a stream? No, I didn't see his stream yesterday. Maybe you mentioned it today. Maybe you mentioned today, but yeah, I've never seen Nick trade McDonald's before either. Maybe it was just a big story behind it, so that's why he shared it. But yeah, I remember you mentioning yesterday about it as well. But yeah, for me, it's just Forex majors, miners, and a couple metals as well. But I'm going to be looking to add the indices next, which should be fun. And I've going to trade the indices slightly differently. Be a bit more aggressive with them and hold trades for longer, because the markets are built for that. Forex, not so much. It have its moments, but it does move sideways quite a lot. But yeah, with me, I'm going to see how Euro USD gets going. So far, not really much to report on. Still basically at my entry from this morning. But it's in a nice area. So if the market's going to be, if it is going to pull back, this is probably the area it does pull back from. So we're going to see how that continues. But yeah, for the USD pairs, I do think we can have a bit of a bounce sooner or later. And it does look like some of them are turning around as well, especially dollar CAD at the heights there, not looking too good either. So yeah, looking for some downside there. Gold and silver still looking really bullish. I need them to pull back to give me some entries. But like I said, anything can happen this afternoon. But I just got a feeling they probably will push back to their highs. But we'll see. Maybe they do go through a bit of retracement. And then, yeah, with the yen pairs, I'm not going to be looking for any opportunities until the new week. Because I'm going to wait to see how some of these weekly candles close. And then I'll use that to make up my mind in terms of my bias, because we're still at some big levels. And if we hold on to them firmly, I do think we'll probably go for a big sell. Euro Aussie, okay, we'll go for Euro Aussie. I did go through this one earlier for someone, I can't remember who. I think it was Poppy. But yeah, Euro Aussie, again, not a big fan of this one, but what I can see is that we've been slowly descending to the downside here. So I am looking for another drop back into the low here at 1.60260. In terms of finding the entries, that's where the conundrum is, because it's just been moving a little bit sideways as of late. So yeah, entries a little bit higher up look good. I remember a couple of weeks ago I said if you can get another retest of the high, that would look good for a short, but didn't quite happen. Now it looks like the market is slowly pushing lower with these lower highs. One over there, second, third there. So as long as we can hang on to that, I do think there's a nice short back into the low. Whether we get to the higher time frame low, that's a different question. We might kind of stall and bounce here and then push back up. So I'd be a little bit careful taking profits as we get there. Will make a lot of sense. But in terms of direction for Euro Aussie, I am bearish, looking for another drop into that low. I think that looks like a good interim target there, 1.614. And then we can make a call if price is going to break through it or not. But yeah, I am bearish, still holding on to some nice high time frame structure there. So if we can maintain that this week, I do think we're likely to fall. And if you break through that, then I'll kind of just take a step back and reanalyze, because yeah, that's not what I want to see from a bearish standpoint. But guys, we have come up to the end of the stream. Really appreciate you guys tuning in and chatting with me. As I said, I will be live again with Trader Nick this afternoon. So if you guys are free, in about an hour and 45 minutes from now, we'll be live with him. So yeah, we'll see what's happening, discuss some of the movement. And if not, I will be live again tomorrow, Friday, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. as usual on this channel, on my channel here. So hope you have a good day, guys. If you have enjoyed it, please be sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel, and of course, make sure you do drop a like. Let me hit the bell so you don't miss out any streams or uploads in the future. If you haven't done so already, guys, please go and check out the Discord channel. Completely free to join. The link to that is at the top of the chat. You can join in discussions, share trading opportunities. I share trades there, opportunities I'm looking at, and so do other traders as well. And if you want to chat and discuss, make sure you check it out. And of course, you can find discount opportunities there to Elevating Traders, 50% off. So if you don't want to miss out on that, make sure you go and check out. But guys, really appreciate you tuning in. Have a great Thursday, and I'll catch you all in the next one.